What's going on, guys? Tony Hannity's here for Tony's Tech Talk episode 12. I would be remiss if I didn't start off with this headline, as it was pretty much the biggest news of the last couple of days. Essentially, Apple bought Beats Electronics. Now, we kind of knew that this was in the works for, I think, at least 2 weeks. And Sean Wilbur and I talked about this speculation about 2 weeks ago on the LTG show. He's not a big fan of Beats, although, and I'm not a big fan either. But the fact of the matter is, Beats is really good when it comes to marketing. They have a ton of money to throw at, celebrities just to wear them on their heads, then walk down the hallway. And next thing you know, every teenager wants to wear Beats just because Colin Kaepernick has them. Hey, I want to be like Cap too, but I know better sound quality is out there, and it doesn't have to be something of the brainchild, quote unquote, of Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine. In any case, Beats does have a cool factor, and so does Apple, especially with their iPhone. So, upon regulatory approval, this should close in the fourth quarter of the fiscal year, which I believe is probably going to come after the iPhone 6. But that still doesn't mean that they won't put some sort of Beats integration into the iPhone. Just so you know, this deal went through for about $3 billion. Essentially, it broke down into, it's actually $2.6 billion in cash and approximately $400 million that will vest over time. Now, both Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre are going to essentially be official Apple employees, which is kind of funny because, all this time Dr. Dre has been, working for himself to a certain degree, and now he's got to, now work for Tim Cook. They're still holding on to Beats Music, which is the new $10 streaming music that's on both iOS and Android, and to them it's kind of like a gateway, especially if you have an iOS device. You have the choice of, clinging on to the free service with iTunes Radio if you don't mind ads, where you can pay the $25 a year and get iTunes Match plus the stream radio without ads. But the app interface of Beats Music is really innovative, and it's really cool, and that's one thing it does set itself apart from some of the other apps that are out there. Now, I actually kind of liked Milk from Samsung, but it's really powered by Slacker. So in terms of its choice, it's really pretty much the same as if you just download Slacker Radio, which, if I'm not mistaken, is an AOL property. Now, when it comes to Beats Music, like I mentioned, it's still going to be available on Android. So ipso facto, Apple will have an Android app by default. Now, in the future, could this mean that you could use it as a portal to get to your iTunes music onto your Android device? Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. Apple's not stupid. I mean, they realize millions of people are out there with Galaxy phones, the upcoming G3, but they also have Macs. I mean, a lot of people that work at Google have Macs, but they also have an Android phone. So, it would be kind of nice to somehow work together in that, but, only time will tell. When it comes to the whole music business with Beats and everything, Beats was actually purchased by HTC for, if I'm not mistaken, only $300 million back in 2011. Now, that was big money back then. Now, $300 million seems kind of small, considering this went to Apple for $3 billion. But with $300 million, what they bought was a hope that getting Beats integrated into cell phones, more and more people would realize, at least from that standpoint, how much better of a sound quality that Beats is on that particular cell phone. Because it wasn't just the headphones that you got for free. It was some sort of, I guess, equalizer upgrade that you got into the cell phone. But as Jimmy Iovine said, the Beats HTC partnership, quote unquote, crashed and burned. The culture just wasn't there. And if Beats went to Apple at the time, according to Eddie Q, Apple wasn't ready. They were busy doing other things. 2011, I don't exactly remember what the big hubbub was about for Apple at that point. I'm not an Apple guy, but they definitely had their own roadmap. And if if I think about it, I think that's when the iPhone 4S came out. In any event, Apple will continue, like I said, they'll continue to operate Beats Music separately, and you'll have your choice. So let me know what you think about this whole thing. I mean, we've had about 2 weeks to talk about it, 2 weeks to think about it, and I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you have two companies that really rely on the cool factor, and now the fact that they're literally, metaphorically, and financially together, well, going to be. I don't see any reason why someone would put the kibosh on it. This is just really going to be a good thing for both companies. The question I have is Beats, and I don't think they touched on this. They might have, but I didn't see it anywhere. Are they going to continue the relationship with HP? Not that really sells HP laptops. With all due respect to my HP friends, the whole Beats audio integrated into the HPs isn't the selling point. You have a lot of other selling points. That's not one of them. My own opinion. It is what it is. But yeah, it'd be kind of cool to see what comes out of Apple and see what other things that that comes out of Beats Music. Now, Beats Music is available now to download for free. It's $10 a month if you want to give it a go, give it a try. What's really cool about it too, I think it was the excuse me, the current chief creative officer. I don't know if he's still on board with it. It was Nine Inch Nails' Trent Reznor, super god in the music industrial music industry. Not so much EDM or anything like that, but old techno industrial rock. He was the one that pretty much did all the curation of the music in their whole genre set. So not just industrial music, but just everything that's in Beats Music. So I'm not sure if he's still on board. If he is, then that means he's an Apple employee too. So we'll see how that goes. Let's take a drink here. The other thing that was a really big deal, at least for me, was I was invited to go check out this upcoming product from Samsung, and all we really knew about it was they were calling it Voice of the Body. Now, let's go ahead and show a couple of pictures here. Voice of the Body, to me, basically said, what is my body trying to say? And we've already seen some health-related bands. We've seen Fitbits, the Gear Fit, tells you what your heart rate is. I mean, you already know how much more could your body really tell you. Well, apparently there's a lot more. So Samsung has created this, well, at the moment, I think it's still in alpha, but they call it the Simband, not Sinbad. That's a different guy and a terrible comedian. But in any case, this is an advanced modular sensor platform. So it does go on the wrist, and I'm sure in the future they will have other wearable sensors. But this, first and foremost, it does go on the wrist, and what's really cool about it is that it does have the look and feel of a watch, but where it stops being a watch, it actually can tell you in real time in kind of an EKG kind of interface, if you will, everything that you could even want to know that's flowing through your body, in terms of like your blood pressure, CO2 level, your O level, I mean, whatever you need monitoring 24/7, this system, this modular system, would allow you to do that. And so they didn't have any of these to test out because it's, like I said, it's in like extreme alpha stages right now. But it is an open platform. It's an open SDK, and if you're a developer in the field of health and fitness, and you've wanted to kind of play around with hardware that would allow you to dive into your client's body more than some of the existing health bands have done right now, this would be the way to do it. Samsung has already partnered with colleges and hospitals and even startups like TickTrack to basically, or MyFitnessPal, I think, is considering somehow working with them to to get these sensors integrated and talking with these respective apps, or talking to the college, and being able to get in real time. And that's a huge differentiator between this and some of the other fitness trackers that are out there. You take the Fitbit, for example, you go running, you sleep, you do whatever it is that you do, then you have to go to your Fitbit database or the dashboard later on, and then you can see what you did for the last 12 hours. With this, you just look down at your wrist and you can see everything, your heart rate go up and go down, your CO2 level just dissipate, or whatever happens when you run really, really fast. So it's very interesting, yet a lot of it goes right over my head. I was surrounded by people from The Verge and Mashable, and I think they already kind of knew what to expect. I got to be honest with you, when I got the invite, I just saw Samsung, so I was like, oh, maybe it's the Galaxy S5 Active or something like that. It wasn't. There was no phone. There was no tablet. This was as close to a smartwatch of an announcement that they were doing, but this is not a smartwatch. And in fact, when this becomes available to, I guess, purchase, I don't think necessarily this would be customer-facing. This is more, well, not even enterprise-facing. This is more doctor-facing. This is fully medical. I mean, if anything, you're going to get this, that you can maybe rent the device from your doctor, kind of like how your doctor has you, take home machines to help improve your sleep apnea, things like that. You can rent this device, and they can monitor you while you're away from the hospital, on the fly, on the go. And they didn't talk about any kind of price range. They didn't talk about any they didn't really dive into what the actual operating system is. Is it Tizen? Is it Android? Is it just something completely different? Is it Linux? They didn't even go into that whatsoever. So honestly, I don't know the specifics of it. In terms of this particular device, what I do know is that they really had to think about all the different challenges that they would be coming up against, including security and all that other security. Just what's it called? Shrinking it. Just minimization, getting everything to fit into just this little device, all the different sensors that they had to take into account, Bluetooth sensors, there's also Wi-Fi in there as well too. So in the future, Samsung, with this open platform, is going to develop for other wearables. They did kind of touch on possibly something that goes over your eyes, or even something that just goes over your ankle. The wearable doesn't necessarily mean you have to show it off to everyone. You could put it on your ankle and hide it, kind of like what the police do when you're supposed to be on house arrest. I have no idea how that works. Never been on house arrest. But on this particular device, it's about half the size of an SD card. It has a 1 gigahertz of an ARM A7 processor, and like I mentioned, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And yeah, I don't have a specific video that was streamed. I do think that Samsung streamed it, so you might be able to find the full event. However, if you go to our YouTube channel, Lazy Tech TV, I just uploaded kind of a quick 3 to 4 minute introduction on what I'm talking about here. I apologize, the camera is a little shaky because I'm holding it up like this, and I'm outside on a balcony. It's really loud, but I did get to show you guys a little bit of a video of a live demonstration of the Simband. So yeah, that was a pretty cool experience today, and again, I've been a little out of not going to press events, so it was trying to do a live blog and upload to Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus and write on our site all simultaneously just by myself was obviously very hard, and so I apologize for very sparse amount of information, but that's why I'm doing this show right now, so just in case you can kind of fall back and say, oh, he didn't mention that on the video, but he did mention it on the podcast. Lastly, I do want to say this. T-Mobile is holding another press event, and they're calling it Uncarrier 5.0. Now, anytime T-Mobile does an Uncarrier event, it's kind of exciting because, you know, they are very, very different in their marketing strategies than the likes of AT&T or T-Mobile, or actually they are T-Mobile, or AT&T and Verizon. And, you know, they have something that Verizon and Sprint or AT&T won't do, which is balls. Like, they do very, very risky things, like paying early termination fees, not too risky, but pretty much doing an FU to all the other carriers and changing up how customers pay for their phone and basically saying you don't have any more contracts. That's something that people in other countries are kind of used to, but here in the United States, it's really unheard of. Now that it's on Carrier 5.0, we don't really know what they have in store. So to kind of go back, yeah, they did away with contracts. They gave free LTE for tablets, free international roaming, so you can go to the Philippines and use your phone to dial and call to order pizza just because you can. And it seems to be working. Actually, they increase their overall revenue. They increase their subscriber base. So it's looking good up for T-Mobile. So June 18th in Los Angeles, John Laguerre is going to be on stage. He's going to be giving away cars or something. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he's going to do another like, I'm sorry, BlackBerry, but no one's buying your stuff. I don't know what to tell you. It'll be interesting to see. Might not have show tomorrow night. Depends on what's going on. I'm meeting up with some of the other guys from LazyTechGuys.com, Andrew and Radford Castro, and talking about the direction in which the website and our podcast are going. But aside from that, if you have any questions, tech-related, hopefully just tech-related, I'm not really good on relationship advice, but if you have any questions, tech-related, game-related, phone-related, tablet-related, carrier-related, let me know. Hit me up here on Google Plus or on Twitter, LTG Tony, and if I don't know the answer, I will definitely follow along to my colleagues. So that's pretty much it right now. Thank you very much for watching. Let me just check real quick in the Q&A if there's any questions. There are not. So you guys have a great evening. Take care. Be safe. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.